The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 21. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of phenomenal women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And today's guest, I want to introduce to you because she's an amazing woman, right? We're going to be hearing her story of how, she's able to live the life that she wants. She's an intuitive counselor and also an author, and she lives in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona. Her name is Joan, and I'm going to pass it on to her to, let her fill in the blanks a little bit about herself. So, Joan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Maybe you can fill in a little bit about yourself to the listeners?
Alrighty. My name's Joan Scibienski, and I am an intuitive counselor and the author of a series of books, the Ariana series that's on both Amazon and Nook. And what it is a book to empower kids and adults to find their own spiritual center, to find their own psychic abilities, and to hopefully use those techniques to move forward in the world in a more secure fashion.
I like how you said you have books to empower kids, and I think it's important to empower them at a young age so that we can mold them into something more positive, being able to give back to the world, because it's real. I think if you start them young, that's a good thing. So I like that.
So many of us have come from families that disempowered us, that were abusive in some way. I know my family, both physical and emotional abuse was really prevalent. And the physical abuse, you get over most of the time. The emotional abuse takes years and years and years of undoing, forgiveness, and lots of work to get past. So I have made it my point throughout this journey to help women particularly, and now teenagers and adolescents, to also understand that they are incredibly valuable and that each of us has a personal journey. And if we can use that personal journey to empower others, then hopefully we will empower the world.
Yes, for sure. And, reprogramming your mindset is everything, right? It's everything, how you think, how you view life. So I really love that you have that vision to start empowering kids. So, Joan, what is your cultural background?
Well, I am let me see. My parents immigrated from Germany on the last boat over to England during World War II, and they were German Jews. And then they got lucky enough to be able to come to the United States. So my background should have been Jewish, but my father had become an atheist because of his experiences in Germany. So I really had no religious background whatsoever, but a strongly spiritual one.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm going to have some more questions for you. What would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I think my favorite self-confidence quote is that we are all creators. So what do you want to create?
I love that. Sometimes we forget that we are creators, especially when it comes to our own destiny. And if you want something in life, you got to go out there and get it, right? So I really love that quote that you just shared. That is, that was perfect. But in your own words, I'd also like to know, how do you define self-confidence?
I think self-confidence is a deep belief in yourself and that the universe is working as it's supposed to. I used to be so shy that if I saw somebody across the street, I would hide rather than have to see them and say hello. And one day I was meditating and I heard my guides or angels or whatever you want to call them say to me, "Who do you want to be?" And I said, "I want to be happy. I want to be popular. I want to feel good." And they said, "So then pretend that that's who you are." So I began to pretend that I wasn't shy, that I was worthy, that I had a lot to offer, and you know what? I did it long enough that I actually believed it. And that goes back to what do you want to create? We live in an illusion of all the things we've been told we are and are not, and what we can and cannot do, and we accept that illusion. And we can choose not to accept that illusion and become whomever we think we can be.
Yes, that's so true, especially as women. You know, we're always told to be a certain way, act a certain way, sit a certain way, eat a certain way, and it's like, you know what? It's time for us to do things that we like to do. Oh.
I am so sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. It's time that, as women, we have to go out there and start living our own lives, start making our own decisions, and not care what people tell us or what society tells us how to act. So I really love your definition of self-confidence. Yes. So, no problem. So, I wanted to know, what was your life like before the discovery of self-confidence?
Like I said, I was incredibly shy. I had been raised to believe that I was stupid, that I would never accomplish anything except become pregnant. I was totally unworthy. So for a very long time, that's how I felt, and I drew to myself a husband that treated me that way and was also abusive. And what my big aha moment was when he was taking me to the desert with a gun held to my head and told me he was going to kill me, and I leaped out of the car on one of the busiest roads in Scottsdale, Arizona at rush hour and ran for my life. And that's when I chose to empower myself. That's when I chose to never again be a victim, but instead be a victor. And
wow, that is insane. I mean, to be held at gunpoint, I can't even imagine what I would be thinking at that point in time. And I'm glad you were able to get out of that situation, and that, instead of turning it into something negative, you turned it into something positive, telling yourself, that's it, I'm going to do what I want. No more attracting these negative things into my life, because sometimes we forget the things that we think about is the things that we attract. So it's really, really important to start attracting the right things into your life. Yep.
Believing that you're worthy for those right things. I've had so many people tell me that I'm lucky that I have the love in my life that I have, and I don't believe it was luck. I believe that I decided that I was worthy of more than enough to have a wonderful, lasting, empowering, beautiful relationship in my life, not only with my boyfriend of 21 years, but also with my friends, that I was good enough to have the absolute best, and so I draw the absolute best.
That is so true. And I'm glad you were able to realize that, you are worthy and you have to attract the best, because there's so many women out there who still feel like they're not worthy, they don't deserve the best, and you have to start thinking that you deserve it so you can start attracting it, and the right things will appear into your life. So, Joan, what's your life like now?
It's wonderful. I'm doing the work. I got my psychology degree and my nursing license, and decided that I wanted to do counseling in my own way. So for the last 36 years, I've been an intuitive consultant working with thousands of people all over the world. Like I said, I've written these 3 books to help empower people. I do women's groups. I do lectures. My life is so completely different than what I was programmed to think my life should be, which was I should marry, have 2.2 kids, and my husband and children would make me happy. And I decided that I had to go buy my own white horse and take off and make myself happy. And in doing that, I have created a fabulous life.
I love it. That's awesome. I'm glad you made the decision to start creating your own destiny, creating your own life. Like you said, we are all creators. So I have a couple more questions to the woman who's listening to your story, right? She's listening to this episode and she's thinking, what do I need in my own journey of self-confidence? What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think the one tip that I would give to every woman is that we have to help one another. women traditionally have been hard on one another, and I have met so many women that don't like women. Women need to learn to love one another, empower one another, make a good old girl network, because that's what's made the men successful all these years. It's our turn.
Yes, I agree with you. This is one of the reasons why I created this podcast, because I wanted a platform where women were celebrated, where we can lock arms and start doing things together, because that's the only way we can change the world, is when we can start empowering more women out there. And anyone who's aligned with that vision, I'm always willing to support it, because